I just
you see
hear
me
the
now?
ghost. Ah,
Well, my head's a bit big.
die
Môre,
bekende
Callie.
Rob Hersov wat vanoggend hier by ons aansluit.
Yeah, good morning, Rob.
Môre,
Yeah, I
Callie.
see just a part of you, but maybe it's because I take so much space on the screen, but it's good to see you.
Is this
even
better?
virtually. Yeah.
Callie, what a great honor to actually meet you because, I speak to Ernst Roots and I speak to a lot of the people in your team who are superb. I mean, I just want to salute AfriForum and what you're doing.
Thank you.
And continue to have spine, continue to fight the good fight, continue to protect all South Africans, but also Afrikaner culture. I'm a huge admirer of what you're doing and a great supporter.
So you guys are actually only meeting on Nispot today for the first time.
Well, I have met Rob previously, but maybe I didn't make that big.
No, we just never had we didn't have a proper conversation. Yeah. We haven't actually. I'll put my hand up, shake your hand.
Yeah, in Hermanus, we just walked by when you had that business conference, and we went to see the mayor.
Exactly.
Rob, while you are on the line, because it falls within the scope of our conversation, I would like to ask from you, while Callie is here, to tell us, what do you think? Is AfriForum to blame for what happened in America this weekend? Who's to blame?
The ANC is to blame. There are 140 race-based laws sitting in our country. Race-based laws, all anti-white. And it's just building up and building up and building up. And all of a sudden, everybody starts fighting back. AfriForum leading the charge and doing the best job of all. And all the black racists come out of the woodwork and start screaming and shouting. And they're looking to point the blame somewhere else than the ANC and then themselves. So, the lightning rod is AfriForum, and they point at AfriForum and they call out AfriForum to being the problem, being racist. Enough's enough. The racists are the ANC. And that's where it's come from. So I don't think AfriForum's to blame at all.
Callie, is 'n reaksie van jou af voor ek vir jou groet?
Yeah, maybe I can just say, Rob, I see in the comments someone says you're a very attractive man. And I've been scanning, nobody says it about me, but probably for...
En ook nie oor my nie, Callie.
Yes.
No, I've been using a Zempic for 3 months. So I've lost 12 kilos. So maybe Isaac, maybe you should take a look at it.
I've lost 60 kilograms since May last year.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, I've lost, but it's only a few pages you tear out of a telephone book, and that's not always visible. So, no, let me come back to the serious issue. Nee, baie dankie Rob, ons het groot waardering vir jou ondersteuning. Ek wil net sê, ek sien hier in die kommentaar is hier met mense wat sê nog steeds, Callie, jy kan nie vir my voorskryf dat ek nie Amerika toe kan gaan nie. Ek vermoed hulle het waarskynlik laat ingeskakel, want die boodskap is hard en duidelik. Jy kan self besluit wat jy wil doen. Ons gaan hier aan die suidpunt van Afrika alles in ons vermoë doen. Die meerderheid mense kan nie Amerika toe gaan nie, al wil hulle gaan. En daarom het ons 'n verantwoordelikheid. Die mense wat kritiek uitspreek het 'n individuele verantwoordelikheid teen hulle self. Ons het 'n verantwoordelikheid teenoor die mense wat agterbly. En laat ons dan toe, soos wat ons jou gaan toelaat om te doen wat jy wil, net laat ons toe om te sorg dat ons hier aan die suidpunt van Afrika veg. Ons gaan hard veg. Dis hoekom ons die onteieningswet geveg het, laat daardie druk van Amerika afkom. En ons gaan nie nou slaap lê daarop nie. So ons sien uit na die toekoms. Hierdie week was opwindend. Dit wys die ANC kan nie net doen wat hulle wil nie. En ons gaan daardie geleentheid gebruik tot voordeel van gewone mense. En die politici dink hulle kan wegkom. Hulle sit knus terwyl die res moet sukkel. Ons moet sorg vir Amerika te sê, eerder as om die gewone mense te straf die ANC leiers wat verantwoordelik is vir wat hier gebeur.
Yes, please, Rob, you can ask Callie a question.
So, Callie, here's a question that I'm being asked, and I don't have, maybe I don't have the creativity or insights to answer it properly. But people are asking me, in addition to pulling aid for South Africa, and in addition to offering refugee status to Afrikaners to go to America. What other tactics can America bring to bear? And
Well, yeah,
Donald Trump is very creative. You know, the idea on Gaza, Greenland, Panama, I mean, he's extraordinary. He's a disruptor. But what do you think he could also add, other than putting Julius Malema on the terrorist list, which he should do immediately?
Yes, well, he can kick South Africa out of AGOA, but again, in that regard, it won't be Cyril Ramaphosa and Paul Mashatile or Fikile Mbalula and Panyaza Lesufi that will suffer. They sit cozy with the funding that they taxpayers' money, and we know many others through corruption live a luxury life. So the people that would suffer are the factory workers and owners, are the farmers and farm workers, people in the chemical industry and the motor industry. Many of the people watching here today, without realizing what impact it would have on them. That does not mean to say, if we are saying that would be a problem, because I think that's what the South African government would want. They think we're going to advocate for them because of what the impact would be for our members. We would want to then see rather that the US puts measures against political leaders. And there are ways. The US has done so before, travel bans, freezing of assets, all those kind of things. And those are to the disposal of the US. And hopefully, if we can't solve this, and they are going ahead with punitive measures, those are the people that they should punish.
It's a long list, Kali, because you basically have the whole management of the MK, EFF, and ANC, all the future prison dwellers.
Yeah, you might have airliners going bankrupt because of a travel ban on corrupt people in this country because the numbers are so high.
Kali Kriel van AfriForum, baie dankie dat ons met jou kan gesels. Kali, en dankie dat ons by Nuuspot nog steeds die kritiese vrae mag vra, en dat ons verhouding nie van so 'n aard is dat ons mekaar ek weet jy's altyd 'n ou met wie mense oop gesprek kan hê, en dis is regtig 'n groot voorreg. Baie dankie dat jy vir ons tyd maak en dat jy ons toelaat om ook die kritiese vrae te vra.
Nee, baie dankie. Nee, jy's 'n joernalis, jy weet. Dis wat mense verwag van joernaliste. So. Dis daarom nie op leuns geskoei nie, want baie van die vrae wat ek hierdie tyd gekry het van joernaliste is wat net sommer nou goed uit hulle duim uitsuig. Maar soos ek sê, dis onstuimige water, maar ons het 'n sterk skip en ons gaan hierdie skip nog sterker maak. En dankie vir die mense wat aanhou 'n groot getalle om ons te ondersteun. Mens sien ook mense wat kwaad is. Jy weet, daar selfs mense wat sê duisende AfriForum lede het geloop. Dis net dood eenvoudig nie die geval nie. Ons kry ondersteuning, boodskappe van ondersteuning, en dit is wat ons sterk maak. Dankie. Thank you, Rob.
En dankie vir die goeie werk wat julle ook doen, want daar is goeie werk wat julle ook doen, en ek dink julle behoort krediet te kry daarvoor.
Ja.
Groetnis, Kali.
Daar's hy goed, baie dankie.
Kali Kriel wat so met ons gesels. Rob, I see someone here says we are like women talking about our weight, and it is absolutely true, and I want to show them, because I'm terribly proud of what I have done over the past couple of months. There it is on the screen. You will be able to see me in May at the election center with Gayton McKenzie. And
he chose a good picture. He chose a good picture because I spoke to Gayton yesterday. I'm seeing him tomorrow, and he says he's lost 20 kilos.
Yes, he's also lost a lot of weight. And then here is a photo I took last week of the 60 kilograms. So
you're half the man you used to be. You're half the man you used to be.
Ek is inderdaad soos 'n vrou wat praat oor my gewig, en ek is baie trots op dit wat ek reg gekry het. So I'm a little bit like someone who were converted, after a weekend Christian camp or something. So I want to walk around and tell people, Terzippertyd is
Isaac, I shouldn't tell you the story, but when I was in the army and we were doing fussbait at the officers' course, And, fussbait, they drop you out in the middle of nowhere and you've got 10 days to find your way back, get your own
Yeah.
food and everything. And the corporal is just marking you. And I was in unbelievably good shape. I was skinny and strong and everything. And there was a reason for that. I had a tapeworm. and I always say, if you're a real South African, you've been shot at, you've had malaria, you've had a snake bite, and I've added you have tapeworm. So I've got 3 of those 4. I still haven't had malaria.
It's good to have you with us, Rob. I want to talk politics to you, but how can we not? This is politics, so we cannot go past this. The big weekend, in many ways, it will bring a change in the South African political landscape. How do you view this?
Well, there was SONA and there's what America's doing. Those are the key factors that are going on right now. And I think the SONA was just more lies, more promises, more delusion. I launched a YouTube channel 1 week ago, and I've put out my SONA thing this morning. So that's my view on SONA. Just lies. I didn't even watch it. I listened to the Joel Pollack interview.
But the Afrikaners getting refugee status in America, it's a big theme this weekend. It's going to go on this week. I'm worried about the divisive possibilities this brings about.
Look, there's a huge number of the racial issues have really come to the fore in the last few days because, for the last 30 years, race-based laws have been implemented, and they're all anti-white, let's face fact. But when you look quite closely at something like BEE is not really about Black economic empowerment. It's about cadre empowerment. And the colored, Indian, and people of other Black tribes are not included in that B. It's just a B for Xhosas and Zulus and friends of the ANC. That's where the B comes in. Everyone else has been excluded. If you're not quite Black enough, you're certainly not part of BEE anymore. People are knowing.
Do you think
So,
Donald Trump is crazy?
No, Donald Trump is a genius. He's a disruptor. If you look at all of his ideas, Gaza, nobody could think out of the box like that. And what he's doing with this Afrikaner refugee offer is basically saying, South Africa, if you're going to go down the abyss, if you're going to go into the hole in the ground, in the whirlpool, I'm going to offer your most talented, skilled people a way out. He knows that most Afrikaners won't take the offer. Most Afrikaners are Afrikaners. You live in Africa, you're staying, and we're going to fight for our country till the bitter end. And he knows that. But what he's saying is, South Africa has incredibly talented people, and I'm going to offer them, come to America. We would welcome you. If South Africa's not going to welcome you, we're going to welcome you. And I think we should thank him for the gesture. We shouldn't dismiss it. We should thank him because it's meant in the good light. And I've always wondered why Australia and New Zealand, for example, you could say Canada and the UK as well, didn't just offer all our doctors, lawyers, farmers, engineers jobs in their country. Forget about immigrants from other nations. If New Zealand had an open door to South Africans, their IQ would double and their rugby skills would triple. As an example.
Well, very good example. Listen, Rob, we touched on it while Kali was here, but the root of what happened this weekend, you already said lies with the ANC, but this is coming from much earlier than just yesterday or last week, isn't it?
It is. It's been bubbling up for years. Every time a new law comes in that's anti-white or race-based, every time a parliamentarian, a member of MK, a member of EFF stands up and says, kill the Boer, kill the settlers, we complain, but we don't do anything about it because we're unable to.
Yes.
We have ministers in the government, ANC ministers, who are criminals. They should be in jail. And they just get moved from post to post. And I think people are sick of it. And what Donald Trump has done is stood up and said, you know what? If you don't respect, if you don't like, and if you're not going to look after the white people in South Africa, come to America. And all that's done is pushed back in a major way against the bad guys in South Africa. And that's helped us. That's a positive thing. It's brought things to light, brought things to the table.
But what do you think urged Donald Trump to do this? Because normally South Africa isn't on the radar, let alone Afrikaners on the radar of an American president. How do you think this happened?
Firstly, there are 1 million South Africans overseas. There are 1 million South Africans have left the country and gone overseas. There are 35, I think it's more, but as far as I can identify, 35 South African born dollar billionaires living overseas. And they're in Australia, they're in UK, they're in Holland, they're in America. And in America, the two richest people in Los Angeles are South African born. Elon Musk, Patrick Soon-Shiong, who owns the Lakers, South African. And then I can name another 20, 30 people worth 500 million and above who are South African. Pierre Nordier from Worcester founded a business called Encino. No one's ever heard of it. He's worth $700, $900 million. Corbett Stoffberg, who was the CFO of Naspers, he's worth $800, $900 million. Tons and tons of these people overseas. And many of them, listen, I'm compiling a list of them because I'm tired of picking on corporate South Africa for being spineless and not standing up. It's very difficult for corporate South Africa to say anything. They've got the PIC, they've got BEE, they've got unions, they've got employees, they've got a job where they earn a salary. It's quite hard for them to stand up and say what I say. I can't be fired, I can't be deplatformed. So I want to get 500 names of wealthy South Africans overseas, pull them together. They're way richer than the people in South Africa, the rich people in South Africa, pull them together and create a massive momentum to help South Africa and save South Africa. But sorry, you asked, why does Trump care about South Africa?
Yeah.
Trump cares about South Africa because he has so many South Africans in his orbit. It's not just Elon Musk. It's David Sachs, and it's a whole lot of other people that are talking, Gary Player and others that are talking to Donald Trump on a regular basis saying, you need to help us. South Africa is going off the cliff. And that's why he cares.
Jan Bosman sent me a tweet in the days when X was still tweet. Donald Trump have said 10 years ago, 21 April 2015, as I have long been saying, South Africa is a total and very dangerous mess. Just watch the evening news. We're not talking weather. So he must, this comes from much earlier, 15 years. Rob, there's a lot of criticism against Elon Musk, a lot of support, but also a lot of criticism from South Africa, saying that he's a big hothead and he is a danger to the world. How do you see Elon Musk and his involvement probable involvement in what is happening at the moment?
I say thank God for Elon Musk. And there are many reasons. It's not just one reason. It's not just that he's helping focus attention on South Africa. He doesn't really believe South Africa has a chance, because I know someone that was talking to him 2 weeks ago said, Elon, should the world even care anymore about South Africa? Does South Africa matter? And he said that Elon Musk spent a minute just thinking, and you could see the cogs turning in his head. And Elon said 3 words. He said, demographics don't lie. Basically, there are too many homeless, hopeless, undereducated, unemployed people in this country. I mean, what is Cyril? How many millions? 20 million, 25 million people on social grants? I don't know what the number is now. Last one I looked was 18 million. It's higher. The numbers are against us. Unless we have Javier Milei, who I think is Gaten McKenzie, come in with a hacksaw, cut regulation, cut ridiculous laws, and get economic growth to 5-6%. We've got a real problem ahead of us, getting worse and worse and worse. So thank goodness for Elon. But a second reason why, I want to thank Rupert Murdoch for Fox Television for taking a conservative, center-right, Judeo-Christian view on the world in America. And thank goodness that Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X and allowed us good people to have a voice. These people are saving the world for conservatives, libertarians, and free people who believe in free market and democracy. And he happens to be South African.
I want to tell you something that happened to me this week. I felt a little bit bad afterwards. I had a conversation with someone, and I said in the conversation, I said, I don't think South Africa has a chance anymore. Things are going to get darker and darker and darker. The ANC is not able to change. The GNU is not going to work. I still hope, but the reality tells me it's not going to work. We're going to have much more of the ANC, much more of MK and EFF. It's going to get darker, and we will need each other in community projects like church and whatever else. We're going to be dependent on each other for survival here in South Africa. Am I a
100%.
very, very bad pessimist?
No, you're not a pessimist. You're a realist. Just look at the facts. Look at where this thing's going. Cyril, in his lies at Sona, says he's going to get us to 3% economic growth. How? Cyril, what's the plan for 3% economic growth? We're at 1%. There's no chance. And unless we get to 3 to 5% economic growth, we're not going to have any chance of tackling unemployment. None. So that, I had a conversation with Gayton McKenzie, very interesting one. And he said, because he's part of the GNU, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. And he is the most conservative, center-right politician there is, other than FF Plus and then Carter. By the way, I think they should all merge, FF Plus and Carter and Patriotic Alliance, to form a proper center-right party in South Africa. But Gayton said to me, he said, there are three priorities for the GNU in this order. Keep MK out, solve the crime problem in South Africa, make people secure, and third, economic growth. And he said, frankly, we're only focused on the first one, keeping MK out. How can you have a government made up of 10, 12 different parties whose main aim is to keep the evil people out of government? If that's the priority, we're going to go sideways for the next 3 to 4 years.
Listen, how's Elon's plan to declare Julius Malema an international criminal?
Brilliant. He has been saying all of these terrible things, kill the Boer, one bullet, one settler, and getting away with it for years. He is a terrorist. And I think chuck him on the terrorist list.
Do you have hope for South Africa?
Well, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm staying. You can carry me out in a box. And my wife, who's a New Zealander, is so in love with this country. And she said to me 2 years ago, this country is the best. It's worth fighting for. And that and the fact that my father supports what I say has given me the spine to just keep going. And for what I do, there's no upside. There's unlimited downside. I just take hits day after day after day. But I'm not going to give up. So is there hope?
I realized
I'm not confident.
The story of the refugee status broke Saturday morning. I had the privilege of breaking it on Nuuspot first before any other media in South Africa did it. I received it around about 3 o'clock Saturday morning from Neil Diamond in America. But I was on my way to the Kruger Park. And I said to Neil, but please, I know it is midnight there by you, but we have to do an interview. So we did an interview just before I went to Kruger Park. And then on my way to Kruger Park, I was half an hour later than I was planning to go because I wanted to get there when the gate opened. But this gave me the opportunity of experiencing once again day on the way to Kruger Park, as you can see here on the screen now. I took a photo of it. I just take this off here so that you can see the full photo. Well, as I know, hide there you go. The
Wow.
road to Kruger Park. And I realized there, not that I have ever doubted it, but this Afrikaner is going nowhere. I'm staying.
I'm staying too.
I won't judge anyone else that wants to go. I have lots of empathy and sympathy, and but this is the reason I am staying.
You know, Isaac, Annabelle 20 says, Rob, you can sustain your livelihood. What about those who cannot? I get it. I get it. But what I'm trying to do with the resources that I have and the voice that I have is say and do what other South Africans can't afford to say and do. So I hope that answers the question. I'm making the effort to stand up, say what I have to say, and try and do the best for South Africa. And I've taken financial and personal hits like you can't imagine. But I'm not giving up, and I'm not leaving this country.
Thank you very, very much for making time for us here on Nuuspot. It's been a privilege talking to you again. Keep well. All the best for you. I see Colonel Chris Wyatt is also on our channel this morning. Welcome, yes, sir. I must still have an interview with you. I haven't had the privilege yet. Rob, thank you so much. It's always nice talking to you and hear your views. And
tot ziens, Isaac.
Tot ziens. Dis Rob Hersov wat so met ons gesels. Net hierna gesels ek met Willie Oukamp van die DA. Maar kom ons kyk net vinnig na die nuus hooftrekke hier op Nuuspot. En in die nuus behoort julle ook kennis te neem. Die ANC veroordeel Amerika wat in Suid-Afrika se slaaikrap. Meer as 20,000 wit Suid-Afrikaners doen navraag oor hervestiging in Amerika en rugby. Ierland maak seker van hul oorwinning teen Skotland. Dis van die nuus hier op stroom op beskikbaar net hierna. Willie Oukamp van
Jy luister na Isak Du Plessis op Nuuspot.